Welcome to Ethelgard Beta. The Federation charts list it as a Class 4 Psi-reactive biosphere. The soldiers who vanish here call it the shifting green, or more simply, the maze. This isn't a jungle where you get lost because the trees look the same. You get lost because the planet itself is alive, sentient, and hates Euclidean geometry. The apex predator here is the landscape. The Maze Mother is a planetary consciousness that controls the flora and geology. It doesn't hunt, it herds. You set a waypoint and the jungle shifts around you. Mountains migrate. Rivers reroute themselves into dead ends. Valleys open up beneath your feet, dropping whole platoons into subterranean pits lined with digestive enzymes. Satellite mapping is useless. The map changes every hour. Compass needles spin wildly as the planet shifts its own magnetic poles to confuse you. The Maze Mother wants you disoriented, separated, and tired before it consumes you. Standard military doctrine is based on navigation, flanking, and using the terrain. On Ethelgard Beta, the terrain uses you. When the vital strategic outpost of Forward Base Euclid was swallowed by a sudden tectonic shift of the jungle, cutting off 5,000 personnel, the brass knew that sending rescue teams in helicopters or standard transports would just be feeding the maze. They didn't need pathfinders. They needed demolitionists on a planetary scale. They activated the 42nd Geoengineering Corps. The straight liners. We don't believe in curves. We don't believe in going around obstacles. Our philosophy is brutish, simple, and undeniable. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and God help anything standing on that line. I am Commander Valerius, pilot of the flagship terrestrial warship, the Axiomatic Truth. It is not a tank. It is a 60,000-ton nuclear-powered industrial nightmare on treads the size of city blocks. We don't have cannons. The entire front third of the vessel is a counter-rotating array of plasma induction cutters and diamond-tipped grinding teeth heated to the temperature of a small star. We don't drive over the jungle. We drive through it. Our mission: breach 20 kilometers of the most hostile, shifting terrain in the galaxy, deliver emergency power cells to base Euclid, and extract the survivors. Our navigation plan: point A to point B, dead straight. No deviations. We didn't land the truth. We dropped it from low orbit like a kinetic kill vehicle. The impact shook the continent, instantly vaporizing a square kilometer of triple canopy jungle and creating a crater of molten glass. The moment the massive treads hit the bedrock, the fusion reactors spooled up to 110%. Inside the cockpit, it was a sealed world of brass gauges, screaming alarms, and the deep, resonant thrum of untamed power. The heat was intense, even with industrial cooling systems running full blast. Reactor status: critical. Cutter array temperature: 4,000 degrees Celsius. Eurocompass locked on vector 00 alpha, reported Lieutenant Kale at the engineering station, his voice shouting over the roar of the machinery. Engage drive systems, I ordered, staring at the solid wall of iron-hard ancient trees filling the forward view screen. Let's teach this planet some geometry. I slammed the throttle forward. The axiomatic truth lurched, its massive treads biting into the earth. The grinding array spun up to full speed, a shrieking, terrifying sound that drowned out the world outside. We hit the tree line. It wasn't like hitting wood. It was like feeding a mountain into a blender. The plasma cutters vaporized the moisture in the trees instantly, creating explosive bursts of superheated steam. The diamond teeth chewed through timber harder than reinforced concrete, spraying chips the size of cars into the air. The tank didn't slow down. It just vibrated with the violence of the act, chewing its way forward at a steady 40 kilometers per hour. We were leaving a trench behind us, a perfectly straight 50-meter-wide canyon of smoldering ash, raw earth, and leveled stump. 5 kilometers in, the Maze Mother woke up to what we were doing. It realized we weren't playing its game. The ground beneath us began to heave. The jungle wasn't just shifting now, it was attacking. Massive, ancient trees, hundreds of meters tall, suddenly uprooted themselves ahead of us, weaving their trunks together to form a dense, living wooden barricade. Terrain anomaly detected directly ahead. The landscape is trying to divert us 15 degrees port. Kale yelled. Maintain vector. I roared. We do not turn for trees. We slammed into the barricade full throttle. The impact was seismic. Inside the cockpit, sparks showered from the ceiling as inertial dampeners fought to keep our bones from shattering. The grinding array screamed as it bit into the ultra-dense heartwood of the blockade. The tank groaned, its metal frame twisting under incredible stress. But the reactor held. The grinders chewed. Slowly, agonizingly, the living wall turned into sawdust and steam. We burst through the other side, not having deviated a single degree from our course. 10 kilometers. The maze mother grew desperate. The ground suddenly dropped away in front of us, revealing a massive digestive valley. A canyon filled with bubbling, acidic sludge meant to swallow us whole. The jungle shifted the edges of the canyon, trying to widen the gap so we couldn't cross. Gap approaching. It's too wide to bridge, the navigator cried out. Then we fill it. I commanded. Angle the cutters down 5 degrees. Chew up the bedrock and push it forward. We angled the massive nose of the ship downward. The plasma array hit the solid rock at the edge of the canyon. It didn't just cut, it pulverized the stone into molten slag and gravel, spraying it forward in a massive wave. We created our own land bridge out of the destroyed landscape in front of us, driving over a causeway of cooling lava that we were actively generating. We crossed the valley on a road built from the planet's own destroyed flesh. 15 kilometers. The psychic pressure began. The maze mother screamed in our minds, a feeling of overwhelming vertigo, of being perpetually lost. The view screens outside showed impossible geometries. The horizon seemed to be above us, the sky below. It was trying to break our minds since it couldn't break our machine. Ignore the screens. Eyes on the Euro. Trust the math, not your eyes. I bellowed over the psychic noise. The crew, sweating and bleeding from noses due to the psychic pressure, kept their eyes glued to their instruments. The Euro compass didn't lie. The line remained straight. 18 kilometers. The final obstacle. The jungle cleared around base Euclid, which was currently besieged by thousands of thorn beasts, creatures animated by the maze mother to finish off the survivors. Surrounding the base was a newly formed mountain range of rapidly grown razor-sharp rock formations, a final fortress built by the planet to keep us out. Target in sight behind the ridge. They are overrun. Reactor to 150%. Dump the coolant into the afterburners. Ramming speed. The axiomatic truth became a meteor on tracks. The heat inside the cabin became unbearable as we pushed the fusion core beyond its safety limits. We hit the rock formation at full speed. It wasn't a cut. It was an erasure. The collision was a tectonic event. The sheer kinetic energy of 60,000 tons of nuclear-powered steel traveling at speed vaporized the rock barrier. The sound was the end of the world. We burst through the mountain in an explosion of dust, rock, and plasma fire, emerging directly into the clearing of base Euclid. The thorn beasts, stunned by the apocalyptic arrival of a land battleship that had just eaten a mountain, scattered in terror. The defenders on the walls of Euclid lowered their weapons, staring in disbelief at the smoking, glowing behemoth that had just carved a perfectly straight canyon through hell to reach them. We ground to a halt in the center of the base. The massive cutter array slowly spun down, the heat radiating from it turning the damp jungle air into instant fog. I popped the top hatch of the cockpit. The air outside smelled of ozone, pulverized rock, and burning wood. It was the smell of victory. The base commander limped toward us, looking up at the towering metal beast. By Terra, how did you navigate the shifting green? The paths change every minute. I looked back at the path we had made, a 20-kilometer scar of absolute destruction cutting straight to the horizon, smoke still rising from the trench. We didn't navigate it, Commander, I said, wiping soot from my face. We corrected it. Geography is just a suggestion that we chose to ignore. We offloaded the power cells. We loaded up the 5,000 survivors, packing them into every cargo bay. The truth was heavy, groaning under the extra weight. Ready for extraction, Commander. What's the route back? Kale asked, resetting the Euro. Put it in reverse, Lieutenant, I growled, closing the hatch. We're just going to widen the road. Humanity had proven the ultimate truth of Ethelgard Beta. You cannot trap something that refuses to acknowledge the walls. The maze mother could shift mountains and rewrite maps, but it couldn't stop a species so stubborn that it would rather vaporize a continent than turn the steering wheel 5 degrees to the left. We didn't solve the maze. We broke it. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. The shortest distance between 2 points is a path of total destruction. If you enjoyed this demonstration of industrial-grade stubbornness against a sentient planet, smash that like button, straight through the screen. Comment below. What's the most indestructible vehicle in sci-fi history? Subscribe for the next story in Saga 17, The Green Hell. The line is drawn. The maze is broken. The truth is axiomatic.